Okay, so here we're looking at type studies, creating a series of type studies. We want to have at least 10 type studies to think about what typefaces are going to work for our body copy, our headlines. If you want to have a very decorative headline like this student did, they did a separate type study for just their titles. And so that's possible too. And we also are going to be doing a mood board of looking at, this is right from Pinterest. They just did a Pinterest board and then just did a screen grab of their Pinterest board. You're welcome to do that. You can also add a link to your Pinterest board if you want it as well. And then there's some image research for the images they wanted to think about. These are their sketches for their pagination and their layout. They're looking at just the grids. And this is really all you have to put in a grid sketch is like looking at how many columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, how big are images, where's your type going. It can be pretty simplistic. Here they're looking at some stylistic elements of where they're going to take their images from here and then make them these high contrast. They're exploring that. And so that's where we're at right now in this phase. Give me 1 minute, these are dying. Okay, so here is Lydia's, who used her final manifesto there. Here's these. And again, type. They're using just a couple paragraphs in the brain. What type's a very different column. Here it's a wider column. Is that they're exploring the copy going. And that's you're going to have your final manifesto. Let's see her sketch. She made them very small, but you can get an idea of how she's working on for homework this week. Is already figured out your pagination is and finalized, and then the is the metaphors for design. And so you can start thinking about face. Maybe there's a typeface for your body, different typefaces. They don't how your face for the feel. Additional is a quiet is samples I just showed you, dictating the attitude and the feel. Questions on what we're doing for homework.
How do I for
again? And so maybe I can have you type it for me. I'm going to switch out my earbuds again. Okay, good. So I'll make it right here in InDesign. And you're going to pull fonts from Adobe Font. I'm going to go to Adobe Fonts. Questions. So when we can go right into, there, fonts. To Adobe Fonts. And what kind of geometric, let's say do something very display face, your typeface. So like, for example, for your headlines, that means it's a display face copy or your subheads. That can only the example of the lines that wasn't used for all the body. If it says what a geometric, you'll see, for example, family, which is what you want. That means, there's a lot of different weights for we want to do something with, page numbers and all the things we're going to add. Definitely go through Adobe. They will show up in InDesign and create a file, a new 8.5, 11 entering right now, and just create a separate document and then experiment with, how wide, 3 columns wide, 4 columns in the examples I showed. Okay. We are now moving into, so we're going to give ourselves the different tips and tricks now that you've been through it. Sketches include the space is wherever you want an image, use a square. We're glaring too much with that's saying that's where your image is going to be. Okay. Of the ones I shared, include examples of it in black and take a look at it. And, so let's just read. I have it. To sketch our grid layout size. We're going to create hierarchy, headline, subhead, body again 10 times. And it's just family, but you're using different members. And you're going to put that though on your mural. And then you're going to set it up like we just did today next week. But right at grids, these top 3. You can also grid layout and your type. Used in InDesign before to get a little more comfortable with it. Wanted to get some of these demos brand new to it. And you have a little bit of time to work in class, and I can kind of start working on your mood board, murals, so you can keep building on your product. Excellent.